The Generals of the Yang Family, Chapter 5.
And today we are diving deep into that exact moment of seismic shift. We're looking at the end of the founding emperor Song Taizu's reign after 17 years.
And the immediate, very turbulent start of his brother Song Taizong's rule.
And our source material gives us this incredible, almost cinematic look at how political corruption can just instantly sabotage an imperial mandate.
Taizu's secret will.
Yeah.
Over his 3 big unfinished missions.
Well, the early signs of factionalism that plagued the court right away.
And watch the shocking, really rapid downfall of a newly recruited national hero, Hu Yanzan. It's an incredible story.
It all starts with a very sudden end. Taizu, after establishing the whole dynasty, dies in the capital. He's only 50. The transition is immediate, but the tensions he left behind, they were explosive.
And the first source of that tension, that volatility, is the succession itself, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Song Taizu, his real name was Zhao Kuangyin. He wasn't succeeded by his son.
Which is what everyone would expect.
Right. Instead, he passes the throne to his brother, Jinwang Guangyi, and he says it's because of their mother's dying wish, so Guangyi immediately becomes Emperor Taizong.
So right off the bat, things are shaky. Brother over son. That's inherently unstable. You've got a new emperor, but half the court might still be loyal to the old heir apparent.
It absolutely signals instability. And Taizu knew it. He recognized the risk, and he tried to manage it with this kind of sophisticated system of checks and balances right there on his deathbed.
So it wasn't just my brother takes over.
No. He gives his son, Zhao, a specific, really potent mandate.
And that's the golden tablet, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Exactly. And this golden tablet, it wasn't just some trophy. It was a constitutional check on his brother's power.
But check how?
It gave his son the astonishing right to execute any unjust court officials without needing the emperor's permission first.
Wow.
Yeah, that one detail tells you everything. Taizu knew that corruption and internal politics were the dynasty's greatest enemies, and he basically armed his son to fight them just in case Taizong didn't. Or couldn't.
That's fascinating. He's saying, I trust my brother to rule, but I don't trust the people around him, so here's the ultimate override button for my son. It shows this deep, deep distrust in the bureaucracy itself.
Precisely. And that distrust, it bleeds right into his 3 unfinished missions, the things he explicitly tells his successor to do. These weren't suggestions. These were the final marching orders from the founder of the dynasty.
Okay, so what were the big 3? What did Taizong have to tackle immediately?
First was military. He had to seize the border regions of Hedong. They were still held by enemies, a constant threat to the Song heartland. So, a necessary stabilizing act.
Makes sense. And the other 2 tasks were about personnel, right? Getting the right people into the court.
Yes, and that's where the specific, almost paranoid planning comes in. The second mission was to summon and use 2 powerful guys, Li Jianzong and Hu Yanzan, who were up in the mountains on Mount Taihang.
And the third?
The third, and you can tell he really prioritized this one, was to recruit the hugely popular warrior Yang Ye and his sons. Taizu apparently loved this family. He knew how valuable they were.
Now the detail about Yang Ye, that's where Taizu's plan gets really specific. He didn't just tell Taizong to go hire him.
No, he had a whole blueprint ready. He planned to use an intermediary, a guy named Zhao Sui from a neighboring state, to secretly broker the whole deal. But the key piece, the real signal, was a symbolic gesture.
What was it?
He wanted Taizong to build a Wuning residence.
Wuning, which translates to what?
The non-flattery residence.
The non-flattery residence?
Yeah.
I mean, that name says everything.
It does, doesn't it? And it raises a really important question for you to think about. Why did he need such an elaborate, almost theatrical scheme just to recruit one general?
It tells us he thought his own capital was so toxic.
Yeah.
So full of political games.
That any sincere offer would be seen as a trap. He needed a place literally named to signal honesty, to reassure Yang Ye that this was real, that he wouldn't be flattered and then, betrayed.
He knew the institutional corruption would poison the well. And as we're about to see, the corruption worked a lot faster than the construction crew.
So Taizong, he's probably feeling the weight of his brother's last words. He acts immediately.
He's trying to do the right thing.
He is. He sees the external enemies Hedong, the Liao, the Xia as a huge threat. So he sends an envoy, Gao Qiong, straight to Mount Taihang to get Li Jianzong and Hu Yanzan. He's prioritizing the will.
But even that first step, it immediately hits a snag. A division.
Absolutely. Li Jianzong, he says he needs to stay behind to secure their mountain camp. So he only sends General Hu Yanzan with his wife Ma Shi and about 2,000 troops to the capital, Bianjing.
So Zan arrives without his main partner, without his full political and military backup. He's kind of isolated from the get-go.
He is. Now, Taizong himself, the emperor, he's clearly impressed. The sources say Zan was really, he had this formidable, heroic aura. The emperor saw exactly what his brother valued in this man.
But that royal welcome, it didn't last long, did it?
It lasted for about as long as the initial audience. The second Zan needed housing, integration. That's when the court machinery, driven by pure jealousy, kicked in, and Minister Pan Renmei steps forward.
And Pan Renmei made sure that welcome was anything but welcoming.
It was a calculated insult. Pan suggests housing the new general in this dilapidated old stockade outside the East Gate, and they have the nerve to still call it a royal residence.
It's a slap in the face, a physical symbol of you're not one of us.
And then they gave him a security detail that was just meant to humiliate him.
Right, what was it, like 500 soldiers?
Only 500, and they're described as tired, frail, and elderly. You bring this powerful, heroic general to the capital, and you give him guards who can barely stand up. The message couldn't be clearer.
You're a second-class citizen here, and you have no real protection.
General Zan was visibly angry. You could see the distress right on his face. But this is where his wife, Ma Shi, provides some really smart counsel.
She talks him down.
She does. She's the pragmatist. She focuses him on the real goal, military readiness. She basically says, forget the housing, just keep training the men every day, wait for the Hedong campaign. That's where we'll prove our worth.
So they were willing to just swallow the humiliation for the sake of serving the dynasty.
They were. It's a classic dilemma, right?
Yeah.
The commander wants to rage against the personal insult, but the spouse focuses them on the bigger strategic picture.
But this quiet, disciplined endurance, it just made Pan Renmei even more determined to get rid of him.
It did. Pan Renmei saw Zan training his troops every day and realized this guy is the real deal. He's honorable, he's disciplined. If he goes to Hendong and succeeds, he'll come back with immense power.
And he'll be a direct threat to Pan's own faction at court.
Exactly. So Pan decides he needs a swift political purge. He gets together with his confidant, Lu Wang, to cook up a trap.
So we've escalated from just marginalization to premeditated elimination. And the method they choose is just. It's insidious.
Yeah.
Using the law to carry out a personal vendetta.
That's it, exactly. They decided to use humiliation, designed to either force him to flee or give them an excuse to kill him. The trap is sprung when General Zan, being dutiful, comes to Pan Renmei's office to pay his respects.
And Pan just ignores him for a while, right? Another power play.
Classic move. He makes him wait, then accuses him of violating a supposed late emperor's edict.
He's weaponizing the authority of the man who just died, the man who wanted Zan there in the first place.
Yeah.
So what was this fake law?
This is the height of calculated evil. The so-called edict stated that any powerful strongman recruited from the mountains must receive 100 prestige-slaying rods to curb their ambition.
Prestige-slaying rods, my God. The message is just, your competence is a threat and we're going to beat it out of you.
The irony is just heartbreaking. Taizu wanted to build a non-flattering residence because he knew his court would try to destroy loyal men. And here's Pan Renmei using Taizu's own supposed words to do exactly that.
And the beating was brutal.
It was. The source is graphic. It says his skin was torn open, fresh blood flowing. But that's only half the plan. This is where it goes from political abuse to a cold-blooded assassination attempt.
The beating wasn't the point. It was a delivery system.
It was. Zan gets back to his desolate residence. He's badly injured. He's thirsty. His wife, just trying to comfort him, pours him some warm wine.
A totally normal, kind thing to do.
And the moment he drinks it, he collapses. He cries out and falls into a deadly stupor.
Wait, from the wine?
He'd been poisoned.
So they Crete. They weaponized the cultural custom of offering warm wine to an injured person. That's not just court jealousy. That is outright murder planning.
Absolutely calculated. An old soldier rushes forward. He recognizes the symptoms immediately. He says the beating rods must have been secretly laced with a poison.
Oh, no.
A poison specifically designed to activate upon contact with hot wine.
That's incredible. Pan Renmei had anticipated exactly what would happen after the beating, that Zan would be thirsty, that his wife would offer him warm wine.
It shows the depth of the treachery. They used an official punishment ritual and turned an act of hospitality into the final step of an assassination.
But he survives.
Barely. The old soldier gives him an antidote. Says a hermit once saved him from the same poison. It was a razor-thin escape.
So the old soldier confirms it all. Pan Renmei was behind the bad housing and the poison beating.
And at that moment, General Zin knows. He recognizes the truth. A powerful, malicious official runs this court, and his life is worthless if he stays.
So he flees.
Gathers his troops, his wife, and flees back to Mount Taihang that very night. And just like that, Taizong, in his very first act to honor his brother, lost a great general to corruption he didn't even see coming. And this is how you turn a loyal subject into a potential rebel.
Right, because when he gets back to the mountains, his partner, Li Jianzong, is furious.
Beyond furious. And they conclude that Pan Renmei wasn't just doing this for political power, but to settle some old score. The source implies Zan might have killed Pan's son in a past conflict.
So a personal grievance dressed up as an imperial decree leading to attempted murder.
But they weren't looking to overthrow the dynasty, were they? They just wanted justice.
They wanted redress. They're joined by two other figures, Gang Zong and Gang Liang, and Gang Zong comes up with a strategy for how to get justice without committing full-blown rebellion.
A strategy that involves surrounding a city, that usually looks like a rebellion.
It does, but with a critical difference. Gang Zong says, let's borrow 2,000 soldiers and surround Huaizu City. But crucially, he says their goal is explicitly not robbery or chaos. So what did they tell the local governor?
They told the governor, a man named Zhang Tingshen, that they only wanted to wash away their injustice. They explained that the corrupt official, Pan Renmei, had attacked Zan and then falsely accused him of fleeing.
They're framing the siege not as an attack on the throne, but as a plea for a judicial review. They're still loyal to the emperor, but they're demanding he remove his corrupt minister.
And Governor Zhang Tingshen actually gets it. He sees this isn't a rebellion against the Song dynasty, it's an effort to expose a criminal in the court. So he agrees to prepare a formal, official petition to the emperor about Pan Renmei's actions.
And the general's response proves their loyalty, doesn't it?
It really does. The moment the governor agrees to send the petition, Zan and his allies immediately back off. They retreat 20 miles and just wait for the result. They risked everything just to get a message through the noise.